Welcome back to my HF Coins world. Have you ever wondered if a single penny sitting unnoticed in an old coffee can, tucked away inside a dresser drawer, or forgotten at the bottom of a toolbox could carry a story stretching back more than 70 years? Imagine picking up an ordinary-looking 1953D Lincoln wheat penny. Its copper surface is worn from decades of everyday use, and at first glance it seems like just another old coin. But every scratch, every mark, and every detail reflects a journey through one of the most fascinating periods in American history. Long before today's digital payments and credit cards, pennies like this changed hands in grocery stores, neighborhood diners, gas stations, and family businesses across America. While most examples are worth only a modest amount, certain well-preserved pieces, unusual mint errors, or exceptional varieties have become highly desirable among collectors, making the 1953D wheat penny one of the dates many enthusiasts still search for today. To understand why this coin continues to attract attention, we have to travel back to 1953. America was entering a new chapter after World War II. New highways were being built, suburbs were expanding, television was becoming a part of everyday life, and families were looking toward a future filled with optimism. President Dwight D. Eisenhower had just entered office, and the nation was experiencing rapid economic growth. Every purchase, from a loaf of bread to a newspaper, often involved the familiar Lincoln wheat penny. Millions of these coins quietly circulated through daily life, becoming silent witnesses to one of the most transformative decades in American history. The Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark beneath the date, struck well over 700 million Lincoln wheat pennies in 1953. Because of that large production, finding a circulated example was relatively easy. But collectors know that rarity isn't determined only by mintage. Condition plays an enormous role. A coin that escapes circulation and displays its original mint luster is dramatically harder to find than one that spent decades passing from hand to hand. That's why grading becomes so important in the coin collecting hobby. If you've ever heard collectors talk about mint state coins, they're referring to examples that show little or no evidence of circulation. These coins retain much of the shine they had when they left the mint. A 1953D wheat penny graded at the highest mint state levels can command far stronger prices than an average circulated piece. Most circulated examples may only sell for a small premium over face value depending on condition, while exceptional certified examples can reach significantly higher values in collector markets. The key point is that value depends on authenticity, preservation, demand, and professional grading, not simply the date alone. Now here's something many newer collectors don't realize. The color of a copper coin matters almost as much as its condition. Professional grading services classify copper coins into brown, and red categories. A brilliant original red coin that has preserved nearly all of its original mint color after more than 70 years is considerably scarcer than a typical brown example. Because of that, collectors often pay substantial premiums for naturally preserved red specimens. There's another reason the 1953D wheat penny keeps generating excitement. Collectors constantly examine these coins under magnification, hoping to discover mint errors or unusual varieties. While most coins were struck normally, every now and then a piece may display interesting features such as an off-center strike, a die crack, a repunched mint mark from the era, or another legitimate mint-produced anomaly. Authentic errors are carefully studied and verified, because not every unusual mark is a true mint error. Damage that occurred after the coin entered circulation is generally not considered collectible in the same way. Picture this. A family is cleaning out an old farmhouse that has belonged to their grandparents for generations. Hidden inside an old cigar box are hundreds of wheat pennies, collected decades earlier. Dust covers the container, and nobody expects anything extraordinary. As the coins are poured onto the kitchen table, one bright copper coin catches the sunlight. The date reads 1953, and beneath it sits a tiny D. Suddenly, the ordinary afternoon becomes a fascinating treasure hunt. Whether that coin ultimately proves valuable or not, the excitement comes from the possibility and from connecting with a genuine piece of American history. That feeling is exactly what keeps coin collecting alive across generations. Every collector remembers the thrill of discovering an older coin in circulation. At an estate sale or inside a family collection, it's not always about finding a fortune. More often, it's about preserving history, solving small mysteries, and appreciating the craftsmanship of America's coinage. One lesser-known fact about the Lincoln wheat penny series is that 1953 was among The final years before the design itself entered its closing chapter. The iconic wheat ears had appeared on the reverse since 1909, celebrating Abraham Lincoln's centennial birthday. Only a few years later, in 1959, the reverse design changed forever to feature the Lincoln Memorial. That means every 1953D wheat penny belongs to the final generation of the original wheat cent design, detail that adds to its historical appeal. Experienced collectors rarely rush to clean an old coin. In fact, cleaning often reduces a coin's collectible value because it removes the original surfaces that experts look for during authentication and grading. Even if a coin appears dark or tarnished, preserving its natural condition is usually the wiser choice. A coin's originality often tells a more important story than an artificially polished appearance. As collector interest has grown through online marketplaces, coin shows, and educational communities, more people have started checking old jars of pennies, inherited collections, and forgotten albums. While the vast majority of 1953D Lincoln wheat pennies are common, exceptional examples with outstanding preservation or verified mint errors continue to attract attention whenever they appear at auctions. That's why experienced collectors always recommend evaluating a coin carefully before assuming its value. The story of the 1953D Lincoln wheat penny reminds us that history isn't always locked away in museums. Sometimes it's hiding in a small copper coin that quietly survived decades of American life. It may have traveled through countless cities, rested in the pockets of factory workers, veterans, students, shop owners, and families before finally ending up in someone's collection today. Every mark on its surface represents another chapter in that remarkable journey. So the next time you come across an old jar of pennies or inherit a small collection from a family member, don't overlook the wheat cents. Take a closer look at the date, the mint mark, the condition, and the overall appearance. Even if your coin turns out to be an ordinary example, you've still uncovered a genuine artifact from a remarkable period of American history, and that alone makes the search worthwhile. If you enjoyed exploring the story behind the 1953D Lincoln wheat penny, subscribe to HF Coins World for more documentaries about classic American coins, their history, and the fascinating stories they carry. And before you put away that jar of old change, spend a few extra minutes looking through it. You never know what piece of history might be waiting for you.